Kit Kat, and The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power.
Amazon Prime's Rings of Power is caught in a tailspin by the immense blowback from the fans, and Bounding on Comics shares an article about Patrick McKay making the case to save his show. I smell fear, and it's obvious after Comic-Con that the evidence is overwhelming that Rings is nothing but another political hack job, another Hollywood public service announcement. So keep them on the ropes, boys and girls, and vote with your wallet and your voice, and show them the power of the fellowship. Welcome, Slayer Nation. I hope the week has been treating you great, my friends. You've been rocking the boat. Amazon is afraid. It's a long way from where we started. You remember when you had the showrunners bragging, boasting about writing the novel Tolkien never wrote, and then they treat Arda like a Barbie doll that required a revolutionary transition into a blue-haired land whale. Well, times have changed since then. All of a sudden, you got the Bobbsey twins. Payne and McKay are changing their boxers to Depends. Now they're singing for their supper in order to salvage their show. Why? The worm has turned.
The most important thing is if everyone should just read what J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay have said, where they come from. They're absolute fanboys. There's a deep love and trust in the source material.
I disagree. We've already read about the showrunners' knowledge of Tolkien. We've already heard everything they've had to say about their love and understanding of Eowyn.
And so Tolkien doesn't say anything about Harfoot's not having done anything amazing in the Second Age. He says that hobbits before the Third Age didn't do anything impressive. So we felt we had license there to go ahead and tell a good Harfoot story.
JD, what am I going to do with you? Listen, I'm going to help you out one more time. Hobbits and Harfoots, the same thing. You got Harfoots, Fallowhides, and Stores. You got it? I want to help you out. I don't want you to embarrass yourself. I'm telling you, I don't understand. I think he's going to one day say that the flame imperishable is a Zippo lighter. But we have to educate these Amazon lackeys. And if that interests you, then push the subscribe button down below and join the fight to defend Tolkien's beloved legendarium. The Lord of the Rings of Power showrunner Patrick McKay attempts to address concerns show will embrace modern woke politics. McKay is in this position. He has to do damage control because the cast did more damage at Comic-Con in a handful of days than Amazon's horrendous marketing did in a handful of months.
What I love about the writers on this show is that they have given every woman on the show, every female character, such agency. We don't serve the men around us. And I, as an activist, as a long-time human rights activist for my homeland, Iran.
Miss Bonyadi, I don't know why all of you keep using the word agency. Is that like Hollywood's word of the day? But you're wrong. Professor John Ronald Reuel Tolkien created some of the greatest, most beautiful, most empowering, intelligent, enlightening women, female characters ever in fantasy or mythology. I mean, just off the top of my head, I can think of Galadriel, Arwen, Eowyn, the Shield Maiden of Rohan, and Elbereth Gilthoniel, the Queen of the Valar. So what are you talking about? Either you need to go back to the books if you haven't read them yet, or go back to college and learn how to read something besides political slogans and bumper stickers.
Examples, something that could ground you a little bit more. In the research, found these beautiful portraits of Native American chiefs, which I felt for me like were the closest to elvenness that we have in human form.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Ismail, I understand that you got that contract with the golden handcuffs that binds you to read all of Amazon's DEI policies, but that kind of a virtue signal is a little bit on the nose, don't you think? You're researching and studying mortal Native American Indians to understand immortal elves? Okay, one, this isn't Long Ranger and Tonto, this is Tolkien.
Him get wrong idea, then him too proud to admit him make mistake. Him not even listen. It's because he's young and inexperienced.
So you get it, folks, right? The cast of Rings of Power flayed open the series for everyone to see what it was truly about. So McKay had to come to the rescue. He wasn't trying to transmit a message that spoke to contemporary politics. He wanted to create a mythos that was timeless and would be applicable. That was his word, applicable, the applicability across times. See, that's McKay. He's talking about what Tolkien thought. But what's interesting is that he's a little bit late to the party to now be dancing to his tune. He elaborated, every single choice we've made at every turn of this show has been to be faithful to that aspiration, because that's what we want as viewers. We don't want to adapt the material in a way that might feel dated. We aspire to being timeless. So then why are you injecting SJW narcissistic political values into the series?
And really, guys, like, no BS, they have let us make the show we want to make.
Thank you, JD. Thank you for shedding some light on the situation. See, Patrick, right there, JD told us that you have absolute control, total power over the series. So one of two things are going on here. Either y'all have actually cancerified the canon, you've destroyed the Legendarium because you choose to, or second, your huevos have been cut by Amazon and you're doing what you're told and you're just too embarrassed to admit it, so you're lying. That's why these books still speak to people so much, because so much of what's in them has not aged. And we aspire to do the same thing, he claimed. And I think we feel that once people see the show and see what the stories and characters and worlds are in context, they will feel the same way. McKay, he's singing all the right notes, he's saying all the right things, but what I'm getting from him is kind of like lip service to the Legendarium. He's trying to tease, to tickle your Tolkien funny bone, to get you back into bed with Amazon. But it's not going to work for a simple reason, because his words contradict his casting. His statements contradict the canon that he's butchered. But I think there's a perfect person to put a finer point on this. But I would ask them to make an effort of imagination sufficient to understand the irritation and on occasion the resentment of an author who finds increasingly, as he proceeds, his work treated as it would seem carelessly in general, in places recklessly, and with no evident signs of any appreciation of what it is all about. You know, I'm going to be blunt about this, gentlemen. Your series so far comes across like a book report that you had a year to do before you turned it into your professor, and you did it 24 hours before it was due. You went and got a copy of the Cliff Notes, you went to Twitter, grabbed a few pieces from there, then took a couple of articles from some trash mag, slapped it together, handed it in to your teacher, and he said, okay, gentlemen, unless you answer my question, I'm going to flunk you and you're going to repeat this class. So, who is Galadriel? And you turned around and said, all right, we're excited. Queen Galadriel, that's the Queen Mary Sue Ray Palpatine Skywalker from the planet Zima. And he's like, get the hell out of my school. You know, if we could forget everything, every single thing that they did to the canon, if we could ever forget everything the cast said, everything the showrunners and producers said about updating Middle-earth and giving it a modern makeover for today's times, how do we ignore what Prime has been doing lately to the teasers and trailers? They've been inserting dialogue to persuade audience members, to persuade viewers that true Tolkien lovers who criticize the series are nothing but liars.
You have been told many lies of Middle-earth.
And Prime didn't stop there. They continue to defile Tolkien's life work. They cheapen Middle-earth to change the mythology in order to create a mass disaster of a gimmick. You don't believe me? Look at Amazon Prime's Rings of Recycled Fantasy, Simon Tolkien's Revenge Porn, the graduating class of 2022.
Problems are easier when you talk about them with friends. Even something like painful burning feminine itch. Maximum Strength Vagisil Cream works. It has the strongest itch medicine of its kind. It's instant relief. No wonder more women use Vagisil. And Vagisil added vitamins to soothe irritation. With Vagisil, the relief lasts. Which is good, 'cause we can talk all night. Trust Vagisil. A better understanding of better intimate care.
Amazon Prime despises Tolkien's Legendarium. They hate his writing, his core ethics, morality, and beliefs. They utterly loathe those grand themes from Middle-earth that are timeless. That's because Amazon hasn't lost money yet. They haven't learned their lesson that to hate something is different than loving something. See, they want to transform a mythological masterpiece into a mega series event that becomes an epic for the ages. But you cannot create something like that unless it comes from a place of love and it comes from a place of respect, because anger can only take you so far. Hate can only take you so far. And lying, well, when you live a life of lies, fear becomes the warden to the prison you built with your words, your false fables and ill deeds. And fear, my friends, never sleeps, just like the fellowship. So get out there, shake the rafters, lead by example, and make your voices be heard. Let everybody hear you roar. We never bow down, we never bend the knee, firmly defiant. Step up, stand tall, and get busy living your best life now, always forward.